we're going to do defensive players this week, but we're going to save that for next week here for our prospect scouting. We're going to give you a little treat this week and do our first mock draft 1.0.
1.0.
So we'll get that started here. Let me fire it on up.
Yeah, we're going to do an alternating pick here. So Chris over here is going to do the odd number teams. I'm going to do the even number teams. Reason we picked that, he's a Patriots fan, I'm a Broncos fan. It's just the way it falls. So we're going to make our picks for our own teams. Kind of see what we're liking there. So, and I believe we're not going to do trades this week.
I think we don't do it here, but obviously if somebody wants to hit us up in the comments, you want to see us do some trades that we think could happen or will happen, we can certainly hit that in mock 2. We'll be doing a couple of these till we get up here to the draft time. This is my favorite time of the year.
Mine too.
Tough part with this, I do think number 1 does potentially get moved.
Yeah, I agree.
I do think there's a trade involving the Bears, whether it's with one or with Fields. I did see a scenario where
it kind of has to happen. If they're not taking Fields, they're not staying at 1, right?
Yeah, I would agree here. I could definitely see either Washington or New England being in play for 1. But in this scenario here, we're not going to do trades. So with number 1, I'm going to take Caleb Williams, quarterback out of SC, and say they move on from Justin Fields, trade him to the Falcons or whatever.
Yeah, I think the realistic trade there is with the Patriots. I do. Either the Patriots or the Commanders, I think, are going to move up for their guy. I can honestly see the Commanders moving up to number 1 and picking their guy, and then the Bears would fall down to number 2. I think that's probably the most realistic. Because I think if you're the Commanders, you still give up a 1 for next year, right?
Yeah.
To move up. So the Bears take their 1 for next year and still get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, honestly, I think if that would be a perfect scenario for the Bears if they trade to 2. I honestly would not be surprised to see them trade again.
Yeah.
Trade 2 away then again.
Yep.
My only concern with New England moving up, and I had been starting to lean more towards them going up to get Caleb Williams, is Robert Kraft did say that he may not hire a GM until after the draft.
Yeah.
So that
it's kind of weird.
Is not kind of. It's very weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. He's never had a GM.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill's been the GM.
Bill's been the guy
the entire time.
Gerard Mayo become the new GM?
I don't think they give that much power to Gerard Mayo, but we'll see. Mayo did say he does not want to be Bill Belichick, so that was good for me to hear.
Yep.
But so you, sir, were on the clock at number 2 there. The Washington Commanders.
So we got the Commanders. I think this is a 1A, 1 or 1B pick. So I think obviously the Commanders are going quarterback. Like I just said, I think the Commanders are. If the Bears decide they're not going to be taking that number 1 pick, I think the Commanders are probably your number 1 target to move up and take their choice. You already have 1A off the board, so I'm going to go 1B, and that's Drake May, quarterback out of UNC. I think he's the best pick there. I could also see if team falls in love with Jaden Daniels, maybe May falls to being the 3rd quarterback taken. Maybe somebody would rather have the athleticism of Jaden Daniels, but I think in this situation, if the Bears would take Caleb Williams at number 1, I think May's the 2nd pick.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I definitely think they're 1, 2, and number 3 here with the New England Patriots here. I think there is a chance they trade this back, but in this
Bill's not there anymore, so who knows?
Bill's not there, so we'll see. But I'm going to take Jaden Daniels. We move on from Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. I don't think either one of those guys are the guy. Jaden Daniels is Lamar Jackson-esque.
Yep.
I think he would hide some of our offensive line issues with his ability to move in the pocket and his playmaking ability. So I'd take Jaden Daniels there.
Yep. So I think so I'm at the Cardinals here at number 4. I think this is where it ends of the just home run picks. I think everybody knows who I'm going to pick here at number 4. Obviously, the Cardinals are sticking with Kyler Murray, so what do you want to do when you have a quarterback already in place? You want to get him as many weapons as you can. Cardinals in this situation are in a perfect position to get the best player in the draft. So with that being said, Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State, wide receiver. I think this is now where it gets interesting, where I think top 4 in a lot of mock drafts are showing the exact 4 we just did.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that maybe New England doesn't go Jaden Daniels there and does take Marvin Harrison. I think there's a chance for that, or I could see New England maybe going Joe Alt as well.
Yeah.
But a 5 here with the Chargers. It does get a little interesting here for me. I'm not 100% sure where I want to go with this one. But I'm going to say they go Roma Dunze. I think they they'll take him over Malik Neighbors and give them a better weapon out there. They've had a ton of issues at receiver with just staying healthy with Keenan Allen getting a little older. Mike Williams obviously has been hurt about every single year that I can remember, and Quentin Johnson just had his struggles.
Yeah.
So I think Roma Dunze is a good fit there. I definitely think he brings in an elite weapon for Justin Herbert there, and he's the heir apparent to Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
And it just gives you depth at a position that it needed.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's a great pick there for them, just because like you said, I think the heir to Keenan Allen just gives you that. I mean, Keenan Allen's only going to probably play for another couple years, so I think Dunze takes over and does everything that you wanted Quentin Johnson to be.
Yeah.
So, which obviously I don't think is working out over there. So that being said, we're going to the Giants here at number 6. I think the Giants would have loved to have Roma Dunze here. I think they still end up going to an offensive weapon. I think if you look across the board, I think where they're lacking on offense the most, I think Wan'Dale Robinson was probably their most effective receiver this year. So I think the Giants are definitely looking to get a true number 1 receiver. So I think they end up going with Malik Neighbors out of LSU. So I think he'll change that offense. Definitely give him a little bit more of a dynamic feel on offense. Give him a little bit more speed on the outside. So definitely think they go receiver there. Think they're hoping for a Marvin Harrison or a Dunze fall, but I think Malik Neighbors is a good consolation prize there.
Yeah. So the Texans up here at 7.
Titans.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. The Titans up here at 7. I'm going to go with Joe Alt. I do think there's a solid chance that Joe Alt's not there at 7.
I agree.
I think there's a very realistic couple of spots he could go earlier there. I do like him more than Fashanu. So I'll take Joe Alt there.
Just touching off that a little bit. I mean, I know we're not doing trades here, so I think at the Cardinals at number 4, where I took Harrison Jr., I think Harrison Jr. ends up going top 3 realistically with the trades and stuff. So I think the Cardinals are going to be sitting there hoping Marvin Harrison Jr. is there.
I think it really depends on what the Bears do.
Yeah,
the Bears kind of hold the key.
They're definitely holding the keys. But I think it's a really realistic spot at number 4 for Joe Alt going to the Cardinals. So I think the Titans would be absolutely ecstatic if Joe Alt falls to them. So I think that's
I do think in this scenario, though, if Joe Alt's there at 7, I don't think there's a chance in hell that the Jets don't move heaven and earth to come up and get one of the tackles.
Yeah. My pen.
8 here with the Falcons.
Yep. So the Falcons are an interesting one. So I can definitely see the Falcons being a team that moves up to get a quarterback. I would really like to see Jaden Daniels in this offense. I think it would be very dynamic for him.
I think a big part of that, too, is depends on who ends up getting the head coach job there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if Belichick gets that job, he's going to try to go for a vet quarterback.
Yeah, 100%. I can see a vet going in there and doing pretty well with this all. I mean, they didn't have a very good vet in there this year, so I mean they kind of didn't really perform very well because they didn't really have that guy there running the team, but they have all the offensive weapons in place. I think they do need a little bit of work on their defense, so if we're not going to go, I mean, they have all the offensive weapons. Maybe if a Malik Neighbors is still available or a Roma Dunze, maybe you go with somebody like that. They have a very good offensive line, so I don't see them really going that direction. I think maybe they go edge rusher here, and I like Dallas Turner at Alabama. So I think that's, if they go defense, I think that's where they go.
Yeah, that's who I was actually thinking there, and kind of hoping he went to was Dallas Turner. I think he's an absolute phenomenal speed rush guy.
Yeah,
he's great. He's my number one edge rusher coming out. So he's definitely flying up the boards. I think he's going to have a really good combine too. Yeah. So I think it's going to further.
I think people are going to be surprised at how fast he runs and how strong he is.
He's a fast dude. He's going to be a physical freak at the draft.
And he's played at an NFL level in college. I mean, he played for I mean, how many guys come out of the league at Alabama every year? I mean, he's ready.
Definitely, it's NFLU out down there.
He looked like a first-round pick 2 years ago when he was a freshman. So
yeah, like he's good.
Yeah,
he reminds me a little bit of Will Anderson.
Yeah,
obviously he played with him.
A little bigger.
Yeah. But so similar production.
I think you'll see him with his hand in the ground a little bit more.
I think I wouldn't be shocked by that at all.
Yeah.
And then 9 here to the Chicago Bears. I'm going to. I'm gonna go with Cooper DeJean out of Iowa there, the cornerback. I think that's a good fit there. They need a corner. They need somebody opposite of Jalen Johnson.
The white guy's making an appearance.
First round pick. I think he's a first round pick. I think he's going to test well too at the combine. So I think
he's going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him too. I was between him and Nate Wiggins. I think they're the two top corners in this draft. But I'll lean Cooper DeJean there. Yeah.
All right, so number 10 here. I think the Jets are going to try to do whatever they can to protect Aaron Rodgers as much as possible. So I'm going to put my number 2 tackle on the board there, Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. I think he's definitely very, very improved from year prior. I think a lot of people have him as the number one tackle in the draft. I think he's number 2 behind Joe Alt. But quick feet, quick hands. I think he'll play pretty well for Aaron Rodgers. Not a lot of people are seeing this. I can see him moving to the right side. Just something I can see over there. But I think he goes in. He's a day one at left tackle just because the Jets don't really have it, unless we can see Bakhtiari going there. But I think after Aaron Rodgers' injury and only playing 3 snaps or 4 snaps, they're going to be doing what they can to get it.
Yeah, and I think they wanted to go offensive line last year, and obviously the Patriots made a trade to let the Steelers come up and take Broderick Jones instead of them. I do think they were going tackle there as well. So they definitely need to tackle their offensive line as their biggest need. So I would agree with that as well. Number 11 here, the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are kind of in an odd situation because you don't really know what they're doing at quarterback. Are they looking to go young at quarterback? Is there really a spot here that you take a quarterback? Or do you take best available? I'm going to... this one's tough for me as well. I'm going to say they're going to go with an edge rusher and take Jared Verse out of Florida State. And then maybe reach back in for a second rounder on quarterback, or potentially look at bringing a vet in off the street there. I'll go Jared Verse out of Florida State.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick there. I think helping out that defense, their defense played very well already. I think adding to that is going to help.
I think they go quarterback to Penix there, but
yeah, I think Penix is the best fit in Minnesota, so I think that's his best landing spot there. Going to number 12, this is also a spot. This is Denver Broncos. So I mean, obviously the Broncos are going to be looking for a quarterback. Top 3 are off the board. Chances are 4 are off the board if Penix ends up going to 11 to the Vikings. I really like Bo Nix with the Broncos as far as fit goes. I do not think Bo Nix is a 12th pick. I think Bo Nix is a second-round pick or a late first-round pick. I do not think you have to waste a 12th pick to get Bo Nix. I think Sean Payton will be looking for another offensive weapon to add to that offense. I think this is absolute dream scenario for Denver in this situation. They've been looking for a tight end, and they really haven't. They've kind of swung and missed on a couple of them recently. Greg Dulcich looks very good, but he's can't stay on the field. Noah Fant really just didn't get the job done for him. And I think this is the best of both worlds here. One of the best blockers in college football and very good receiving tight end. So with that being said, dream scenario for the Broncos here, I think, is Brock Bowers out of Georgia. So doing this draft, I mean, I don't see how he falls that far, but then if these picks, though, that we've done are very realistic of team needs.
Yeah, Bowers is one I've done a few just on my own, and I've had a hard time finding.
Yeah, I mean,
if he fits with everybody.
Yeah,
but if
you look up and down the board, like where is he going to go? Like, I don't think he goes to the Cardinals, who would be the first team that picks there because they have Trey McBride. Maybe the Chargers, maybe the Bears swing on him on the second pick, but they have Cole Kmet. Maybe the Titans go for him just to have an offensive guy for Will Levis. The Giants, who the fuck knows what the Giants will ever do? So,
I think the Giants are going to line a really.
Yeah, I mean, they need it. They definitely need it. But dream scenario, if Brock Bowers is there at 12, I think Brock Bowers is a guy that somebody trades up into the top 10 to get because I think he's a generational tight end.
I mean, he's the best pure tight end we've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not as great as an athlete as Kyle Pitts was.
No.
But he's fairly close, and he's a hell of a lot. He's way better blocker.
He's an all-around.
Yeah.
He blocks.
Your true tight end.
Yeah, he blocks like Kittle and not quite as fast as Kelsey, but catches like Kelsey.
Yeah.
So I think his NFL comp is Kittle all day long, just because of the blocking and the all-around receiving ability. I think Brock Bowers is a star, and I think Denver would be absolutely fucking over the moon to get him.
I mean, I would agree. I mean, if he falls there, I think they would be really hard pressed to not take him there.
Yeah.
But 13 here with the the Las Vegas Raiders. Oh, man. This is another hard one here, too. Don't really know the coaching situation or what he's going to want to do. But for me, they don't really have a whole lot there in the secondary. They have a lot of needs, in my opinion, here. Terrion Arnold feels like he's a Raider for me. I don't know if Nate Wiggins and Terrion Arnold are similar players as far as grade-wise for me goes. Terrion Arnold has very long arms, so I think he fits the Raiders, what the Raiders want to do in the secondary. I'm going to take Terrion Arnold there.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I think you hit the nail on the head there. He seems like a Raider, like just very Raiders type pick. I think so. I got the Saints here at number 14. I think the Saints might want to add another offensive weapon with this pick, but I think at the same time, all the offensive weapons that have been off the board, I think you just take best player available in this situation. I think that's Drizon Newton at Illinois. Add some depth to your defensive line, add some star power there. I think he's a good run clogger. Definitely help out their defense a little bit. Especially you have a defensive-minded head coach. I think that's kind of the direction they go. They have some power. They have some firepower on offense, but this is a very deep receiver draft.
It is.
I don't think you need to reach for somebody like Brian Thomas here. I think you're hoping Odunze or Neighbors falls. Don't think it happens. Yeah. Maybe Keon Coleman goes here. I think it's a little early for Keon Coleman just because of the depth of the receiver core. So I'm just going to go Drizon Newton. I think he's best player available, and he's the best defensive lineman, like interior defensive lineman in the draft. So I think he's just a really good fit there. I can see a lot of Derek Brown from Auburn that plays in Carolina. I see a lot of that. Just run stuffing ability in his game. So that's what I'm going to go with there.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I consider Newton for the Raiders too. He feels like a Raider as well, but just positional need there. I'll take Arnold over him. At 15 here with the Colts, I think the Colts may be looking to bolster that offensive line to try to keep Anthony Richardson healthy next year. So I think they like J.C. Latham. I think he can play inside and outside, so I could see him being a utility lineman for them as well. You know, he's going to start somewhere on day one for me, but I'll take J.C. Latham there. Tackle out of Alabama.
All right, so Seahawks. Seahawks have some weapons on offense. I think this is one they could go offensive line if the right one falls to them if they wanted to. I also like Drizon Newton here for this pick, but in this case he's off the board. I think they definitely go defense. Looking at here, I think they add.
I mean, I still think there's a high likelihood Dan Quinn gets that job.
Yeah, so I think they go defense. I can definitely see them going defensive back. So I think I'm going to go Nate Wiggins out of Clemson here for him. That seems like a pretty good pick there, good fit. They just picked a corner in the first round last year, so let's keep bolstering their defense. Offensive quarterback's going to have some questions here in the upcoming future, but I think that's a good fit for them for right now.
Yeah, I mean, I like Nate. He could play for sure. You're definitely not going wrong there with picking Nate.
No.
At 17 here with Jacksonville. Jacksonville a little tough for me. What Josh Allen's contract's up, so do they bring Josh Allen back? I mean, are they going to afford to take him there, or are they going to look to replace him? I I think there's a decent chance he doesn't resign. So I'm gonna take. I don't know how I'm gonna butcher this name, but Leatu.
Oh, the kid from UCLA.
Yeah, the kid out of UCLA.
Yeah.
I really like him. I'm gonna take him there to help bolster the edge rush there, as well as potentially replace some of that production there if Josh Allen does decide to.
Yeah, I can see Josh Allen leaving. I really can.
He's gonna want a bunch of money for sure.
Yeah, and I think somebody else would be willing to pay that for him. I could see somebody like Seattle paying that money for him, or somebody along them lines, maybe just looking for another piece on the defense. But at the Bengals, number 18, Tyler Boyd, I believe, is on a contract year, so maybe this is somewhere they're looking. Yeah, Tyler so I mean, I don't think they re-signed T. Higgins. I don't think they re-signed Tyler Boyd. So I think they're going to end up letting these guys walk.
I think they re-signed one. I don't think they re-signed.
I don't think they re-signed both. So I think that's something they're going to address in the draft. Either that or the offensive line. I think if the right weapon is here on offense, you're going to go with it. In this situation, I think it has landed this direction. So I'm going to go with you have one LSU receiver in that room already. I think they're going to add another in Brian Thomas Jr. It just seems like a good fit there for me. Giving Joe Burrow another option. I mean, you don't want to take Burrow's weapons away. I think you want to keep the weapons, feeding Burrow. And in that case, too, if a J.C. Latham falls to them there, I think they go offensive line maybe, but I think offensive line is something they can address in free agency if they need to.
Yeah, I think in that scenario, I think I would have probably took the kid out of Oregon State, the tackle Oregon State there, to at least Fawagawi. I'm not sure how these guys got some funky names, but I do think they probably lean O-line there. But I think it does really depend on what they can do in free agency.
Yeah.
I really do think they re-sign one of them. If it was me, I'm re-signing T, but T. Higgins is going to cost a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
I think Tyler Boyd is. Not that Tyler Boyd is coming cheap.
I just think that, like I said, I think it's a very good possibility they go with offensive line. I think that's probably the best choice, and I think maybe Fuaga is the best choice there. But if they lose both receivers, which I can definitely see happening, they're going to need to replace them quick. So
yeah,
I think Brian Thomas is definitely
if they lose both, they'll definitely be in the receiver market in the draft. But 19 here with the LA Rams. Obviously, they exceeded expectations here. I don't know how much time Stafford has left. I do think there's a solid chance that he's been talking about considering retirement for the last couple of years. So I do think they potentially are looking for that next guy, since Stetson Bennett obviously has his own personal demons that he's dealing with, and I don't think he's the guy. But I'm going to take Michael Penix here to come in there and potentially replace Matt Stafford, because I think Matt Stafford very well may step away at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
if Stafford doesn't, I don't think they take a quarterback, for the record.
I think that's a good pick there for them. Definitely, either way, you're going to need somebody for the future there. So,
well, I mean, I think if Matt Stafford comes back, they go all in and probably go O-line there, just to try to bolster that O-line for him. But I'm gonna play out this scenario out in my head where he retires at the end of the year, and then they're in a need for quarterback.
Yeah, makes sense. 20 to the Steelers. I think they need some offensive line help. So I'm gonna go tackle out of Oregon State, Fuaga there. Couple. What's that?
All right, that's
you had him on the next pick.
No, I didn't. No, I think if in this scenario, they would have probably blew their load. The Kool-Aid McKinstry was still there.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I can also see linebacker Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I could see that happening too. I think if a tackle like Fuaga is not there at 20, realistically.
Yeah, probably not.
So I think we kind of addressed a little bit of needs there, but I think they're blowing their load at Fuaga being there, honestly.
Yeah, I do too. And that secondary definitely needed some help, though. That's the only reason why I would have thought Kool-Aid would have been your pick there. But I do agree that they do need some offensive line help. More interior line, though, I think. But I think they can bump somebody in for sure. But I'm going to continue the tackle run here with the 21 and in the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to give him on Marius Mims out of Georgia. Played right tackle in college, so I think he can come in and play both sides. Potentially, maybe even move to guard. He's got kind of long arms to play guard, but I think the Lions are going to be trying to do everything they can to protect Tua, and with him playing right, it protects his blind side.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So you wanted me to pick Kool-Aid McKinstry at 20. I'm going to pick him at 22 because I think the Eagles.
But he's not from Georgia.
I know he's not from Georgia, but I mean, maybe the Georgia boys aren't working out. Maybe they need to go to the Alabama boys here at in the NFL level. So I'm going to go Kool-Aid McKinstry at number 22 for the Eagles. I just think
that'd be a great pick.
They need whatever help they can get on defense right now, especially secondary's been bad. Bradbury's gone. I mean, you got to put somebody opposite Slay.
Darius Slay may retire.
I think this is
Slay's getting old.
Yeah, I think this is a situation where the Eagles might try to trade up to get their guy that they want in the secondary. But I think the Eagles are super happy with this pick if they can get it. He's great. I don't think Kool-Aid McKinstry is the best corner on his team. That's a story for another day, though.
Coming into the season, he was.
Yeah.
But Terran Arnold has just played so well.
But, I mean, now that Downs is leaving, too, Downs entered the transfer portal today, that just has Georgia written all over it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So, but yeah, sticking to the mock draft here, I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is the pick at 22.
Here at 23 with the Houston Texans here, I think they go and try to bolster that defensive line again. I'm gonna take Braylon Trice out of Washington. I really like Braylon Trice.
I love Braylon Trice.
He's got a super high motor.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance they go Chris Braswell. I think the combine is going to be the difference maker in those two. I do think Braylon Trice is a little bit better pro prospect than Chris Braswell, but they may go back to the Alabama well there and take him as well. I wouldn't be shocked by that at all.
Yeah, I can see that. 24, the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a very interesting pick because the Cowboys always seem to go with a big name guy rather than the fit of a team. It seems like they're always going for just the best name available. I can see them trying to add another, just because I think they want to have just as much firepower on offense as they possibly can. I think the Cowboys in this situation take A.D. Mitchell out of Texas. Just add another guy opposite CeeDee Lamb. Add another weapon. I mean, outside, you have Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is a ticking time bomb anywhere he goes. He's bound to get traded at some point. But I like A.D. Mitchell there. I think they can also go defense, corner. Kool-Aid McKinstry's there. I think they take him. Maybe go. I could see them going safety. Maybe going to kid out of Missouri. Or
Missouri?
Kid, yeah.
Missouri's a corner.
Yeah. I'm saying going if they go defensive back. I meant sorry. But if they can end up going to kid out of Missouri, I could see them going for Cameron Kitchens. But I'm just gonna roll with A.D. Mitchell. I can see them making the sexy pick rather than the right pick.
Yeah, they're a team that's always tough to figure out what they're gonna do.
Yeah, they're a hard team to figure out.
I feel like the last couple of drafts, it's been like very head scratching picks they've made. Some have hit, some haven't. So 25 here with the Green Bay Packers. I definitely think they have some concerns on their offensive line, trying to figure out what they're going to do there. I'm going to take Troy Fautawano out of Washington there to come in and maybe be a stable force out there on a tackle spot there if Bakhtiari just can't get back on the field.
Yeah. All right. 26, Tampa Bay Buccaneers as of right now. So I'm thinking, as for the Buccaneers, Mike Evans is on a contract year. I could see them going receiver. I could see them going defense. I think if Mike Evans does walk in free agency, which I think is a very big possibility, they're going to want to try to replace that big guy on the outside as soon as possible. So if we're just going that scenario there, give me Keon Coleman out of Florida State. I think that's I think that would be a good pick for there. If Mike Evans leaves, it's a big if. Obviously, we don't know if this is where Tampa Bay is going to be picking or not. But as of right now, I could see Evans leaving, and that would be a good pick to fill in shoes.
All right, I mean, I could see it. 27 here with the Arizona Cardinals coming back for their second round pick. Obviously, they took Marvin Harrison to address that wide receiver need early in this draft here. I still think Jonathan Gannon may need some help on that defense. I'm going to take. I think they strongly are looking at corner here. I'm going to take Ennis Rackshaw out of Missouri. I think he's a pretty solid fit there. Maybe looks safety. I'll stick with the corner.
All right. So 28 would be Kansas City, right?
Yep,
Kansas City. So I could see Kansas City going offensive tackle, maybe to help out a little. Juwan Taylor, maybe replacing him there. Maybe replacing the right tackle. I can see them doing that, but we've talked about this a lot on the show. I think we kind of know what direction Kansas City's going to go. I think they consider the tackle there for maybe a second, but I think receiver is definitely the way to go, and I think there might be a chance that they end up trading up to try to get the receiver they want if they're going to go big game hunting. Maybe for somebody like Coleman or A.D. Mitchell. This situation, both of them guys are already taken. So, I mean, it's kind of a toss-up here. I know they probably want a bigger guy, but I can definitely see them going receiver. So in this case, I'm just going to give them. I'm going to give him Troy Franklin out of Oregon. I think that would be a good fit. He's fast. I think he would add a different dynamic to that offense that they don't have currently.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they're going receiver. I think in an ideal world, Keenan Coleman is their guy.
Yeah, I think Keon Coleman's their guy too.
I think in this scenario, I think I would have leaned a little bit more Xavier Legette, but I'm real high on him.
Yeah.
Probably higher than most. But the Bills here at 29. Ooh, it's kind of a weird fall to the board here for the Bills. I could see them going a couple different ways here. I don't know if there's a receiver that they're going to look for. Jordan Morgan, I think, probably plays more guard, and Graham Barton probably going to move more to guard in the league. So I don't know if there's really a tackle that I find a fit here. I think they're going to go. In this case, I would probably say they may go Chop Robinson and take a freak athlete on the edge. I think you mix him with Ed Oliver in the inside there, you could have a very dominant pass rush there. Obviously, Gregory Rousseau's all up there too.
Yeah.
So I think you have a very dominant pass rush there. Chop is, I don't know if he's there at 29. He's very raw, in my opinion. Didn't have the production in college that obviously I would have liked out of Chop, but he is a physical freak, and I think he's going to test really well at the combine, and I think there's a solid chance he's a top 20 pick. I don't know if I like some of the other guys that I think a little better, had a little more production for me, but I think you take Chop Robinson on the physical freak side and hope you hit big there.
That was going to be my pick here for Detroit. I think he would have been a great fit here for Detroit. I still don't think he falls that far. I could see Chop going somewhere here in the mid-20s. Just really depends on what fit people want to go to.
Yeah, so my only issue with Chop is the production, and he's very, very raw. There's not very many skill set as far as built-in moves at this current time.
Yeah. I think for the Lions in this scenario, I think the Lions have a lot of firepower on offense, so I think they're definitely going to go defense here. I could see them going corner depending on who's available. Just kind of help out there. I mean, maybe linebacker. Maybe I could see them going for somebody like Jeremiah Trotter Jr. because you don't know. I don't know what Anzalone's contract status looks like. I know they have Jack Campbell there already. It's going to be kind of the future back there.
Took him in the first round last year as well.
Yeah. So I can see them going corner here. So with as far as remaining available corners, I'm going to go Kamari Lassiter out of Georgia. I just think he adds a good fit there on the outside. So I think they're definitely looking. I think corner safety are probably going to be their two biggest needs there. If a good edge rusher that they like is there, I think they go edge rusher. Like you said, if Chop Robinson's there, I think that's who they go. But
yeah, I think there's a chance they look at maybe a guy like Jonah Ellis. I like him. I think he's a very nice guy there. I could see them, maybe going with Jordan Morgan or one of those guys and bumping him into guard.
Yeah.
I think their interior offensive line needs a little work, other than Ragnow's good and everything like that. So Ragnow's not there. I can see him going maybe one of the guards, tackle guard kind of guys, but I like Cameron Lassiter or Kamari Lassiter as well. San Francisco here at 31. Don't really need a whole lot. San Francisco's they're in a good position as far as they can just kind of draft best available and see what works. I do think maybe they go with a Graham Barton here. I think he projects more to interior on the interior line there, but I think he can play tackle at the league in the league here maybe in a year or two. Gets a little bit of experience, but I think he's a plug and play guard in the league.
Yeah, I agree. And then finishing up here with the Ravens, I could see them going offensive line. Right now, I mean, we have Jordan Morgan out of Arizona. We have Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. So I'm going to go Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma.
Patrick Paul in there, too.
Patrick Paul, yep.
Out of Houston.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. I think they go tackle. So I think it'll be Jordan Morgan could very well go there too. But I like Guyton. I think Guyton falls in my top 5 as far as tackles go. So I think that's a steal there, taking him at 32. But obviously the Ravens in that position. I don't know if the Ravens are picking there at 32. So we'll see.
I think they're very, very realistically picking in the top 20, 29 to 30.
Yeah.
And I think Guyton's available there.
Yeah.
However way you want to go out there. Obviously, there were some big names there that we didn't get in the first round.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. Who do you think is some of the big names there? I'm looking at one right now that I know you're going to say.
I went to the next screen. I lost my who's still there. You still have them?
What's that?
You still have up who?
I have some of them. I don't have all of them.
Obviously, I think there's some receivers that we didn't get to that
your
I think
favorite receiver in the draft.
Yeah, I don't think Leggett goes in the first round. I don't. I love him as a receiver, but I don't think he makes it into the first round. I think there's some. Patrick Paul's probably going to be in the first round as far as on the tackle wise goes.
And I think a big question mark too. So we named 4 quarterbacks in the first round.
I do think there's a 5th one.
Yeah, so I think a 5th one becomes an option there. Now some of these teams picking towards the back. Maybe like the Dolphins trading down, the Eagles trading down towards the back. Like there's certain spots where I think teams could trade down. And teams trading up into the first round. So if we named 4, who do you think that 5th one could be?
The quarterback?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Bo Nix.
You think it's Bo Nix?
Yeah.
I agree.
I realistically, if it falls that way and he doesn't end up in Denver, or one of them gets passed, I honestly think they're probably all 5 gone by Denver.
Yeah.
Realistically,
at 12.
Yeah, but I think if it happens to where it breaks out to where one of them falls to the back half of the round, I do think somebody trades back up into the first round just to get that 5th-year option. Yep. I could see obviously like Baltimore moving their pick or 49ers moving their pick on the back half of the rounds, kind of like the Baltimore Ravens did with Lamar Jackson.
Yep,
I could very easily see somebody doing that. But obviously, big name guys that we didn't get into the first round. Obviously, Xavier Leggett, I'm very high on. Jonah Ellis, I wouldn't be shocked if he's in the first round. Patrick Paul, I think, probably ends up in the first round someplace there. Obviously, the linebackers, I don't know if there's a linebacker that I really have a first-round grade on.
Yeah.
Between Edgerrin Cooper and Jeremiah Trotter and Peyton Wilson, I think they're all probably day 2 picks and potentially steals there in day 2.
I think Jeremiah Trotter is a very good day 2 pick. I really do. I like him a lot.
I do too. There's somebody else that we didn't have in the first round that I think probably ends up in the first round. I'm trying to find who it was. Probably Chris Braswell. I think he could have a good camp and make it into the first round. I
do like Jordan Morgan out of Arizona too, the tackle. I could see him
I just don't know
making
where
his
he was
way.
going to be a tackle or a guard,
Yep.
and that's my only issue with him. I do think either one or both the safeties go in the first round there. I really got to do a deep dive on those. I keep going back and forth on which one I have as number one on my board, so I got to watch a little more film and figure out which one I like. I like them both. I really do. Jonah Ellis is somebody I really like as well. TJ Tampa out of Iowa State seems to be a solid player too. So, I mean, it's definitely a decent cornerback class. So we'll see kind of how it all shakes out here. I think pretty much everybody's made their declarations. I don't know if we're really waiting on any shoes to drops, the who's going back, who's not going back.
Yeah, I think we pretty much got our group of guys. I mean, a couple guys still waiting on certain things. Like, Tolia Tagovailoa just said he's entering now because of not getting the 6 year. Yeah, so I mean, you have issues like that. I don't think Talia Tagovailoa gets drafted, but
I think he does. I think he's probably a day 3 guy for me.
Yeah.
Late. I think he might go late. Just on name value, I think he'll probably get. There's some talent there.
There'll be some quarterback. I mean, quarterbacks always get taken. I mean, look at Sean Clifford was a 4th round pick.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of quarterback depth behind the big 5.
Yeah.
Did JJ McCarthy say he's coming out?
I believe so. Yeah.
You
got Nix. You got McCarthy. Nix is probably the 5. You have McCarthy. McCarthy at 6 is probably your 6.
And then you have Michael Pratt.
Yeah, I like Michael Pratt.
I don't know why he's coming out though.
Yeah.
Should have went back.
I think
Spencer Rattler's coming out. Jordan Travis, I think, will get picked as well.
Yeah. I really like Michael Pratt. I think I can see somebody like a Kyle Shanahan-esque coach, like maybe a McVay, or maybe Mike McDaniel or somebody getting him and just sitting him behind their guy that they have in there. Michael Pratt. Yeah, I like Michael Pratt. I think he has Sean Payton written all over him too. Just the way he plays the position.
I didn't scout him a whole ton of bucks. I thought there was no way he wasn't coming out. He was coming out. I thought he was going back. Then he declared kind of later after I did my first initial run through of the quarterbacks there. But I do like him. Obviously, there's some injury issues this year that
I think he's a day 3 pick. I got a 4th round grade on him. I think he's a 4th, 5th round pick.
It
depends on what the run of quarterbacks happens. I mean, there's a lot of people always willing to pick late round quarterbacks in the early late rounds, like the 4th, 5th round.
I definitely think he's a day 3 guy. I think you have 5 go in the top 50 picks of this draft for sure.
Yep.
And then McCarthy's probably not far behind, or Nix.
I think McCarthy and Bo Nix are both day 2 picks. I think if in a realistic world, I think 4 quarterbacks are in the first. Penix being the 4th one. If somebody wants to reach for Bo Nix in the first round, go ahead. I think Bo Nix falls in Denver. Ultimately, Denver does not have a 2nd round pick. So if Denver wants to get back in the first round, they're probably going to give up a good amount of picks to do that. If they want to hop into the 2nd round if Bo Nix is still available, you're taking a risk. If he's your guy, you have to go up and get him, even if it is a reach. But anyway, I can see 4 going in the first round with a potential 5th, maybe at the back.
Yeah,
like you said, for the 5th round option. But then I can see 3 or 4 of them taken on day 2. Like I
have a hard time seeing 3 or 4 on day 2.
I think if we're going 4 in the top, and then you got Nix, McCarthy, and then maybe a couple more, maybe 1 or 2 more fall after them.
I don't see one go in the 2nd or 3rd round as far as anybody below that. I feel like this is a very top heavy draft for quarterbacks, and then the drop off is pretty significant.
Yeah, after the top 4 or 5, it drops off.
Yeah, so I don't know if I can see that many. I could definitely see 4 for sure in the first round. I think if the over under is 4 on that, I'm taking that to be 4. I do think there's a solid chance that somebody moves back in late to take the 5th one.
Yeah.
But I think the combine is going to matter a lot for that. I think J.J. McCarthy has potential a lot to gain at the combine. I don't know how much the other guys really participate. I don't know how much they have to gain really.
Yeah.
But I do think Bo Nix is going to interview well. I think teams are going to fall in love with him. Michael Penix's arm is going to wow.
Yep.
And J.J. McCarthy, if he can come out and show a little more touch on his ball, I think he has some room to grow as well. But I think that'll get us wrapped up here. Our mock draft 1.0. We'll get it out to you here hopefully next day or so here. If you have any, obviously hit us up. Talk some shit in the comments. Tell us what you like, don't like. Tell us we're idiots. Who you had here, where at now. We love that shit. So, all right, guys, we appreciate it. We'll see you next week after the divisional round here. Get ready to go into the conference finals and the Pro Bowl. All right, thanks, guys.
See you.
Later.